Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Starseed Chats. I'm Lily Nova, and we have Dr. Sharnael here with us this evening. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming on.
So freaking happy to be here with you. Love it. And all you guys, some of you were just on my last interview and you decided to come over. So I'm excited to see you again.
That's awesome. Y'all have to check out that other one. Yeah, a lot of familiar faces. We've got Victor, Lakeside Laura, of course, and Robert White,
Hey,
Hopewell
Robert.
Farms. Yeah. Oh,
Hey
yeah.
there.
Robert's going to be on your channel tomorrow night, isn't he?
Tomorrow, yes, at noon, Robert. It's our first time to be on, and I need to get you on the show too. We're gonna have to get some dates.
I'm ready. Let's do it. So, I've seen you around a little bit, and then we just connected on Instagram. I'm really excited to get to know you better. But so, Dr. Sharnael is an author and a speaker. She wrote a few books. One of them is The Science of Miracles, so that's pretty cool. It's nice to have like a doctor on our side, going with the awakening. Somebody with that's done the schooling and has that title. So thank you.
It's,
And I was watching another interview by you earlier, and this one was kind of old, but you also had a religious upbringing.
I wouldn't say upbringing, but there was a period, yeah, a good 20 years of
Wow.
of being in full-time ministry. Yeah.
Wow, that's super interesting. I get a lot of a decent amount of people who their family is like that or they grew up like that, and they're crossing over because there's a lot of programming with that. So
There is. It's and that's why I'm yeah, that's why I got out.
yeah. Well, that's awesome. So do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Dr. Charnel?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me. I've seen you around a little bit too, and I actually saw you on Instagram, and I was like, oh, I like that, and then you reached out, and I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy. So I love whenever we all find each other, and it's fun. And then Robert was going to be on the show tomorrow, and then we chatted a couple minutes, and then he was like, oh, I saw you're going to be on Lily's show, and I didn't know everybody knows each other, but it's like some degree of separation somewhere. We're all like, we know each other anyway. We're all one. But yeah, do we have a doctor in the house? That's so funny, Laura. You go. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm sure you might know some of you guys might know a little bit about my background. My dad, military. I was actually part of some stuff as a kid from 73 to 76 in Montauk. That wasn't fun, but I used it all for even where I am now. Um, did not grow up in the church. My parents were military, and or my dad was, and we traveled a lot. And we didn't have wasn't exposed to any of that really. But when I moved to Louisiana here in the States, because I was overseas a lot, Europe and well, I say Europe, England and Germany specifically, and a couple times London, and then in the northern part of the states. So I'm originally from Montana. I'm actually right up the road from Laura, and some of you guys know Laura Eisenhower. She's my very best friend, and
Oh, wow.
we've been friends a long time, and she just lives right up the road. So we're just doing our thing, and but yeah, I haven't lived in Montana for a while. We have our place still there, and we go back and forth. So I kind of like jump from here, Florida, and Montana. Here's Louisiana, and I just kind of travel. And I've been working with wellness centers all over, and a lot of overseas stuff, and speaking at conferences. But yeah, I started ministry in 1999. Started doing conference speaking. I was on TV for 3 years in North America on the Sky Angel, the Miracle Channel. Some of those I don't even know if they're around anymore, but and had like a talk show type thing where I would teach, and then they would come to my conferences and film live. So my conferences were also on there, and but yeah, I kind of had to just get out of that
Mhm.
kind of situation. God bless everybody wherever we're at. And for me, it just wasn't a fit anymore with some of the things. I absolutely adore God. God is awesome. I believe in source, and I love source code. And so that's kind of more the direction that I'm in. But I actually got into the naturopathic part because traveling for all that time and being on 6 planes a week for 17 years straight. I was working like 120 hours a week for a long, long, long time. And
Wow.
it just caught up with me. And I was like super sick and went to doctors for like 6 years trying to get better. That wasn't really working. The whole Western thing wasn't working for me. That's all I knew because military, you're pretty much shot up and brought to doctors and whatever. But
Mhm.
in the end, I kind of went a different direction
Mhm.
and went and saw an MD who's also a naturopathic doctor.
Yeah.
And when we started working on frequency machines like Rife and Biomats and Spooky and Genius, and I mean, there's so many things out there a million times over, and it's been around since like the 70s, actually the 30s. But even when I grew up, this stuff was around and used in these underground places and above ground, and the elites use them. But
Are you talking? You're talking about frequency
oh
machine?
yeah, they understand frequency.
Oh,
Uh,
can you tell us more about the frequency machines? That's very interesting.
there's all kinds of frequency. I mean, there's the Rifes, there's Software Genius. You can even send stuff remote. That's a lot of what I work biofeedback, where I can do diagnostics and see where you're at with hormones, EEGs, all your organs, your teeth, your spine, emotions, if there's entities involved or a spiritual attack. If there's EMF issues or Wi-Fi or UHF or food sensitivities, or I mean, there's 30 reports. And you can do way more than that, but I usually limit it to 30 and just work with people. But we're 67 megahertz, and
Mhm.
the higher that we can be on, 67 on a healthy adult day, the higher we can be. Good vibes are real, and but if you drop below 67, you're opening yourself up to have more susceptible things come in the field,
Mhm.
especially entities. Entities are at a 25, which is dead. After you hit 25, it takes 3 weeks to get to zero, but entities are 25 and lower. So if you entertain or hang out with anything low vibe, literally, you open the door in the field to these entities that can, you know, do
Mhm.
stuff. So,
Wow.
using frequency, we can boost the body to a higher level and really work with someone to bring literally their vibration up. Um, our cells are the code of God, and that is the highest frequency of all. But most of us aren't tapped into it or aligned to it, or we need to detox really bad or really good,
Mhm.
I should say, to clear the body so we can do what we're supposed to.
Yeah.
I hope that helps answer questions.
No, yeah, that's great. And thank you, Kearns and David, for the super stickers. I appreciate it. Victor asks if he can get a checkup. He'd be curious. Is this something that you can do virtually too?
Yes, absolutely. a
Oh, wow.
hundred percent. Yeah. Um, all the time we do stuff remote in Australia, all over, all over. I just need some basic things and it'll do diagnostics, and then it'll also send your customized frequencies back to you. So it starts the process rolling already and people feel it. I felt it the first time. Well, still to this day, I feel it. But the very first time that they worked on me was from a state away. And I didn't even know they were doing it, but it literally was like, oh my gosh. And I looked at my husband, I said, something's going on. And when I called Dr. Lucky later, after I slept for like 12 hours straight, sitting
Mm.
up on the couch with the lights on, I was like, you must have just did something. And he had just texted me right before 2 o'clock and said, I'm about to start. But
Wow.
I didn't get the text until after. So I was like, whoa, did I feel that? I mean, I was conked out. And I think like if they can do that for the positive, what are they doing otherwise, you know. So this is a good source for us to really kick in and use what we can. Most of it's very off the market. A lot of this stuff I don't have on my website just because I've seen them come take stuff away. I work with doctors that are in jail or what have you, or just like completely gone. So,
Right. Yeah, I was actually thinking about being a naturopathic doctor. I got my dietetics degree, and that was my like introduction to. So I was a nutritionist after the UFOs started coming. Then I kind of switched careers, but going into nutrition and the health field, but holistic health, just that was my first awakening. Doing research projects on that. Why is everybody so unhealthy, anxious, depressed, overweight? All of these heart disease is the number one killer. And it all comes down to like diet, and there's other factors too, your environment, and things like that. But that just really started opening my eyes to how corrupt the system is and how corrupt the food industry, big pharma. I've got bones to pick with them. So that's, yeah, once you start doing some digging, and I think a lot of people are going to kind of be forced to wake up that way because they start getting sick. I was forced to learn diet because I was having issues and no doctor could tell me like, you know, how to fix them. So I started keeping a food log, and then I started learning nutrition, because it can be pretty confusing. But I was amazed by how much better I felt whenever I started, learning about it and taking things into consideration. I'm looking around at everybody like, man, they feel bad because of this, feel bad because of that. So yeah, so I feel a lot of people are going to kind of be forced awake because of things like that, experiencing symptoms or.
yeah. Yeah, and I always tell people, like, why wait until it's life or death? Like, why aren't we, wake up now and start doing some things every day, to support yourself, so you're not waiting for that that really bad diagnostics to come in, or a diagnosis to come in,
Mhm.
depending on. So yeah, I mean, a lot of times people will wait until it's like the really worst case scenario, and it's harder to fix.
Mhm. Yeah, until there's like no other choice.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
could you explain biofeedback? Somebody had put in the comments they want biofeedback and essential oils for Christmas. I know that you also do essential oils. Can you tell us about that?
Oh yeah, sure. So biofeedback is basically, we test. So there's uni, and then there's bio. So uni is one, bio is two. So uni feedback would be like an X-ray. You go in and it tells you this is what's wrong with you,
Mhm.
and you get diagnostics. But it doesn't start do anything to fix you while you're in the X-ray machine. It's just complete diagnostics. But biofeedback is they go in, see what's going on with you diagnostically, and then we customize the frequencies that will bring you back into harmony and start bringing that correction in,
Mhm.
and we start that process. So it works two ways, not just finding out what's wrong, but immediately starting to send things back. And what I like to do is when I do the consultation, I'll go over the reports with people and look to see if there's anything that I would suggest, just to add to your normal diet or lifestyle, whether it's like grounding or go outside or be in nature, or I don't know, liver cleanses,
Yeah.
juicing, whatever, something physical to anchor in the frequencies. That helps a lot, so it holds better. Because again, our DNA is already set up for perfection, but things get corroded, things get like misinformed. There's programs, literally programs in the cells that
Right.
can kind of be rogue and do its own thing, and we got to recorrect it. I'm talking about essential oils. The reason why I work with essential oils is because if you're working with the right oil and the right company, because that's very important, then there is frequency in the oils, and basically you can use that to increase frequency in the physical body too. And if you're using the certain one that I was talking about, also it passes the blood barrier and the brain barrier. So it goes straight into the cells within like 3 or 4 seconds. I do live blood and I have a microscope. So I can actually test your blood right now and it will look one way. I can add an oil and you can see how much vibrance and like how your body will respond to it, which is never responded bad. I mean, it's frequency is always good for the cells. So
Wow.
when I started seeing that in the microscope, I'm like, wow, this stuff is like magic.
Mhm.
So, that's kind of why I started working and really specialize in aromatherapy and frequency. Anything frequency, I'm on it. And that's kind of like my passion.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, frequency is everything. There's a frequency for everything, and through your clients or just what you see in general, can you are there like a few kind of like really common things that
Oh, yeah.
really yeah, could you share?
Yeah. I would say weight,
Mhm.
stress, sleep, libido. Can you guys think of anything? I would love to see your comments, but yeah, those are probably the top ones. Can you think of anything, Lily? Like, what would you say? What
That
would you?
that, like, lowers your vibration or messes with you?
Oh, that. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying what was like the most thing that people come to me for
Oh,
specifically.
that's awesome though too. That's, yeah, I guess I was, asking, like, what are some common things that so basically kind of same thing, stress lowers it, and what else? All kinds of
Oh, what
things.
lowers frequency? Is
Yeah,
that what
what do you
you're
s
asking?
yeah,
I'm so
what do you
sorry. I
think
misunderstood.
yeah.
So stress lowers frequency. Dead food lowers frequency. Um, Debbie Downer people, low vibe people, lower frequency. Music can have low frequency. Um, EMFs can bring our frequency down. The chemtrails and all that stuff can be a problem. Oh, wait. Can you guys see me? It looks like Lily froze. Am I frozen? Oh my gosh. Are you still there? Can anyone see me? I'm sorry. I thought, oh my goodness. I think she went away. Okay. Hey, Lisa. Lisa said I'm fine. So it must be Lily. Lily must be stuck. You guys send good vibes to Lily. Lily's frozen. So yeah, any questions you guys might have? You guys are become the interviewer now. Let's do this. Y'all's podcast. Hi, Kitty. She's going to try again. Awesome. Okay. Thanks, Laura. Wi-Fi, tap water, yes. Dead food, people. Um, I don't know. Some of you guys have probably been on the phone or like saw the phone ring and you see the caller ID and you go, "Oh my God, I'm not even going to do this today." Like those kind of people are literally. You could see it on a camera too. You could see how they take energy. They cannot create their own energy, so they have to survive off of other people's. Um, I do a lot of scalar waves with my soul audit, and we test where people are on the map of consciousness. And if you're under 50, those are the people, well, really under 200, under 100. Those kind of numbers are really not good for scalar waves, or I'm sorry, for map of consciousness or scalar waves. That is the whole manipulation type thing, survival, like kind of greedy, liars, that kind of stuff, that kind of vibe. And they literally have to manufacture, they cannot manufacture their own or generate their own frequency. So they kind of siphon from people, which isn't fun. Yeah. Uh, hey, Robert. Okay. I want that. Yeah. Lisa says, I want that. Yes, there is a dog behind me. Animals are very high frequency. Going back to frequency, we have cats that purr at 157 megahertz. Um, yeah, horses are high vibe, and their field is huge. Dolphins have a huge field. Our field, most average field that I test, can be anywhere from 2 to 4 feet, maybe 5 sometimes. There she is.
I don't know what just happened.
Hey, you know what? You're going with the flow. We said we were going with the flow, right? Someone was asking about frequency, and I was just going into more frequency stuff.
No, yeah, that's awesome. I heard you talking about pets being high frequency, and that was actually something that like my guides and in the star beings taught me was like, cuddle with your cat, play with your cat, and and you're connecting with that Lyran for you Lyrans out there.
Oh, sure. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. I was curious about the entities and things like that, like negative attachments. What do you see? Like what can cause that to come in?
Good question. You have great questions. Entities can come in if you participate in anything 25 and below. So all kinds of recreational drugs, cigarettes, chemicals like pharmaceutical chemicals, chemicals like cleaning supplies in your house, paint, any of those like Febrezes and detergents and all of that is dead and also toxic. So it will cause hormone disruption as well, and also change up the field. Perfumes or any kind of sprays, they literally shift and disrupt the hormones. So now you're projecting a different code in the field, and you'll start collecting and magnetizing people to you that are that vibe, which is mixed up. So a lot of times when people quit the chemicals, quit all the perfumes, they start to see their true mate come in, and they're actually can find someone that's compatible instead of maybe someone who's a lower vibe or like an angry vibe or a manipulative vibe or whatever. I'm all about finding your highest in everything, whether it's your job or people that you're hanging out with, or definitely your partner. So keeping everything high vibe is what goes out, and it also magnetizes and comes back in. That's the biofield. They call it biofield because it's electric and it's also magnetic. It has a dual form. And the head, your thoughts are mostly radiating out. They do magnetize a little bit, but this is the biggest magnet. Whatever you're feeling and what you're focused on with that feeling, you'll bring more to your field, whether it's 2 feet or 20 feet, you'll bring them in. So being really careful what you're thinking about, what you're talking about, and definitely what you're feeling. But then your cells have their own projection, your organs have a projection, and all of that code goes into the field and radiates out, but it also magnetizes back in. So
Yeah.
we get what we are.
Yeah, that's incredible. And that's actually, so whenever the star beings started showing up and communicating with me, and I began communicating with the universe, and it's crazy because the universe will communicate back with you real quick, and it will show you, it's there's intelligence all around us. But the law of attraction, they started teaching me the law of attraction.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, okay, extraterrestrials are teaching me the law of attraction. Okay, let's do it. Yeah. So that is, it's a huge piece. And also, do you have a list of like things that you can use instead of perfume and chemicals? From
I
like
do.
cleaning?
If you go to my website, I have essential oils. Someone was asking about essential oils. I have right now, I'm doing there's a kit you can get, and I can maybe send it to you and you can post it or something. But it comes with like $250 worth of oils, which are all really good for first aid. And you also get like a diffuser. So it's a special diffuser that diffuses out that won't break down from the oils, because a lot of oil's job is to break down anything synthetic. So most oils are not even real, but if you have a real oil, you don't want to put it in plastic because it'll basically break down the plastic, and then you're drinking that plastic. So you don't want to diffuse it in plastic. You don't want to drink and like, you don't want to put it like I drink my green juice every day. I would never put an oil in here because it would break down the plastic, and then I would have to drink that, and that's a major hormone disruptor. So glass or ceramic, and or this special diffuser. But yeah, we're doing a special right now. Anybody who gets that kit, I'm also doing a free bioscan, long distance bioscan, and a consultation, which is normally like $222. But everything, including like I do training and all that, is $165 plus shipping right now. So it's like really a good deal.
Yeah,
Great Christmas. Great Christmas. And yeah.
that
So
sounds
for
incredible.
those of y'all who are asking, that's you can go to my website or just inbox me on Facebook or oh, there we go, Victor. Um, Instagram, Messenger, Twitter, Facebook, Messenger. I can send you a quick link and it's really easy to get. And I love to train people, coach people, explain all that. I want my mandate. I would love to see like millions of people walking in their purpose, whether you're a fireman or a police officer, just feeling good about life and doing your best and living your best life. And if this is something you want to learn for your family or your children or your communities, then I love to train people. So you guys are doing what I do wherever you are, because I'm not where you are, and we need all the people possible.
Yeah, 100%. That's amazing. Yeah, we got to teach, 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 teach. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, and I wanted to ask about remembering our sovereignty, because that's basically what you're just talking about. But Jay just put in a question I wanted to get to real quick. Thank you for the super sticker. Speaking of low vibes, I just joined the army, and the gauntlet of shots I got totally brought me down. What can I do to help? Infantry leads the way. So I guess
First of all,
shots.
yes. First of all, Jay, thank you for your service. Love you so much. My son is a ranger. My dad was military. I have such a heart for vets and active members. And I tell you what, Jay, if you contact me, I will do a free scan on you, and just out of me blessing another vet, that'll help a lot. But yeah, detoxing as much as possible. There's so many foods that'll help detox. Juicing will help detox. Any of these oils will help detox. There's a lot of different things that we can do to help get kind of some of this out.
Mm-hmm.
But zeolites too. If you text me, I can send you a link to some zeolites. They're just on Amazon, but I want to make sure you get the right one. I can't hold it up or anything. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
it with me, but zeolites will get out the heavy metals, and that helps a lot too. So yeah,
Yeah, that's
great
awesome.
question.
Yeah, thank you. I just recently did. I've been doing my first parasite cleanse, and I was
Ooh,
just
good for you.
yeah, and I was just thinking about doing a heavy metal one. So that's awesome. Yeah, I'll get that. Have to get that link off of you.
Well, since you brought up parasites, I'm going to say this too. That is a good segue into this. Parasites have their own frequency. So
Mhm.
whether it's energetic parasites or off-planet parasite, there's all kinds of parasites, right? But
Mhm.
if you have physical parasites like worms or whatever, a parasite, candida, fungus, anything living and alive that's using you as a host, then that actually sends a code out into the field that you are a good victim, cancel clear. So
Awesome.
so that code goes into the field, and then when you're surrounded by other people, whoever those people are, when you're doing your day to day, you start collecting abusers and or people who take advantage, because they will only submit to your lowest common denominator. So if you are low vibe because you have parasites and you're hosting those parasites,
Mhm.
then they're not on purpose. Some of them are very on purpose. As we know, there are not so great people out there, but then there's just average Joe that can only submit to your code, and they don't even know what they're doing, but they're just taking advantage. So
Mhm.
even those physical things, you're really on top of things. I love that you're like ahead of the game here, working on yourself and clearing all this stuff.
Oh my goodness, that's all I've since the UFOs came. That's all I've been doing is clearing, healing.
I gotta hear your story. I'm excited to get you on. Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty they've given me the crash course. So that's mostly yeah, and that's what I'm really passionate about is also healing. I can't even say how much healing work. It's just been constant. But you get up to that next level, and like even through this parasite cleanse, And I guess parasites are a pretty common thing. So probably we all have some sort of, something living inside of us. Um, Even from doing that, I am starting to notice that my thoughts and my way of thinking is changing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm also, deliberately, you know, writing things out, planning things. Anytime I say something that's kind of negative or I get some anxiety or stress about something, I always try to stop myself and rewrite it because you're programming yourself each and every single day. But yeah, the parasites, I'm excited because yeah, I feel like it is helping just in this past week.
I think that was kind of what my biggest aha of just even working with the oils for trauma for myself and the stuff that was going on is when I started detoxing physically and also removing whatever was going on with the trauma, because frequency will move that out and transmute it. Um, my intuition spiked. I mean, my all the technology that's in the DNA, whether it's bilocating or knowing other people's thoughts or being able to feel more or whatever, everything heightens as you clear. So
Mhm.
whether it's physical parasites or detoxing heavy metals, what all the things that aren't supposed to be there, cleaning out whatever cleaning supplies and exchanging it and putting in something else that
Mhm.
is beneficial to you, all those things. The more that we can add good things into what we already have here that's built pretty good with
Yeah.
source, that DNA gets really sharp and everything just seems so much more easy. Your energy is up, your metabolism is up, your immunity is up, you feel happy, and then there's this ripple effect, because if you're happy, that goes into the field, you collect happy people, then you're happier, and then it just keeps going. You get the good job, you get the finances, all the things coming in. I say this in my book. It's like you can't pee in the pool and hope it doesn't get everywhere. There's no smoking section when it comes to like energy. Like if you got a bad situation with partnership, 100% guarantee it's going on in every part of your life, not just in partnership, but physically, mentally, spiritually, in every area, whether it's your job or whatever. So um,
Mhm.
I think with Western medicine, everything is really segmented, and they're like, oh, let's work on the knee and let's
Mhm.
make this knee feel differently by doing this thing specific to the knee. Where I like look at things like you do, where we're looking at the whole body. We just want
Right.
everything to work and to be sharp. And then there's the whole collective too, which I know is a big focus for you of, just helping the masses and getting
Mhm.
everybody, to a higher ascending code, so we can be in a better place and have a tipping point here where we can actually like do some good stuff, right?
Yeah. And you're even affecting, the people in your neighborhood, the people, your family. It can be a process, the first year my family they it didn't go over too well with the whole UFO thing, but now it takes a little bit of time, but yeah, you're affecting everybody around you even if you don't realize it. Um yeah.
It
Yeah,
can
definitely.
definitely be a process with, going through some of the things that we have, traumatic stuff, and or
Mhm.
just your, like you said, your friends of just being like, okay, I knew you, Lily, as this person, and now you're having this thing going on, and like that's weird to me, and that's uncomfortable, and
Mhm.
people, if they can't relate, things can happen. But the
Mhm.
more we clear and the more we raise frequency, then we start finding each other in that same vibe. Like Matthew's on here, God love him, high vibe dude, really pure hearted. Robert is a new friend. We have lots of great people, and look at, we found each other. We're all these guys here. I mean, none of you are here by accident. We're here because we attracted each other, and we're in this experience right now, and it's just fun if we look at it fun and if we make it fun. But
Mhm.
if we see it a different way with like that half empty kind of thing, that's when things get kind of south, right?
Right. And I wanted to comment on something that somebody sassy said. You would love to a detox. You have extreme trauma that makes that induces seizures. I will say that I had a seizure right after the SSP conference, a grand mal seizure. They're terrifying. And yeah, very, very traumatic. But I started taking CBD, which that's how Hopewell Farms, who is in the chat, and then there's a link for their CBD in the description. But that helped me a lot, taking CBD. It helps with the seizures.
Awesome.
Yeah. And somebody asked, and Walking Lightly asked, is it easier to clear physical parasites than astral parasites? What are your thoughts on astral parasites?
Well, astral parasites cannot come in unless you give it permission.
Mm.
Again, so to clear it, you have to raise frequency. If you raise frequency, there's no entry point. Like when you see like a plug-in in the wall, if you see a plug and the plug-in, once you increase frequency, there's no plug anymore. Entities cannot plug into you anymore if you are a high vibe, because they have to lower themselves to get to you. You come up higher, there's no entry point. So they go hand in hand. Everything is hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, exactly. And a lot of that, as we're raising our vibration, we have to clear, like we were just talking about, clear and heal that trauma, because that creates like a doorway, if you will, for these things to get in. Even with me, like I've been making another leap since I moved, developing new abilities and things like that. Then I gained some memories back of being in Orion and some reptilian trauma. Gained these memories back. Yeah, it was rough. It was a rough 2 or 3 weeks after that, actually, because then I was like working through those emotions and healing. And at first I was trying to kind of resist the feeling, the emotions and things, putting up protection, just kind of resisting it, pretending it's not there, or, just trying to get away from it. It wasn't until I changed my perception and my focus to not trying to avoid it or resist it, but just heal it. And then it started to go away.
That's a great point. Yeah, everything that we depress, suppress, oppress, it's going to get stored in the body, and it'll stay dormant until however long, but eventually it'll start trying to come out one way or another, whether it's like a trigger charge, like anger reaction, and or there can be a physical symptom depending on where it is in the body. It'll start showing inflammation or something, which we're taught in the Western world to just deal again with that issue, and in more global perspective would be, let's find the root of the issue and let's transmute that out so we can have a better day and not have to deal with side effects from pharmaceuticals. So yeah, I can see where there would be yeah, you've been through a little bit here, and yeah, you might have to get a scan too. I'll do a scan on you if you want.
I would love that. Yeah, that would be amazing. And I feel like we were just saying, some of these things, they can get stored like deep in the body. So it's like, as you're getting up to that next level, maybe something that wasn't even bothering me before,
Oh
suddenly it
my
is,
God.
because it's like coming out. So
Yeah. Also, this is your frontal lobe, and behind that's your limbic system, and that's like the librarian of your emotions. I was just talking about this earlier. We're bombarded with traumatizing things like constantly, and especially in the last 3 years. There's been like a really strategic, if you haven't figured that out yet, like plot for that. But even before that, whether it's like a coach making fun of you at school, or you're bullied, or a stepmom or dad, or like a divorce situation, there's just life, and then there's like abuse, and then there's like sudden events, like if you fall off a horse or got into a wreck or something, there's a lot of different things that cause trauma to stick. And we usually defrag from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. If you're not sleeping, you're not going to defrag that stuff out. But the limbic system is what holds and then clears. And a lot of times, if there's extra stick, like let's say like an authoritative figure did something for the 5th time and it was still shocking, then there's like triple threat hold to that specific trauma. And basically the librarian, that limbic system, says, you know what? I think this is too much. So I'm going to go ahead and shelf this for now. And I'm going to put this right here, and it may be like a knee or a thyroid or an elbow or wherever, and it'll sit dormant. It could sit like years. It could sit weeks. We don't understand the timing of why things stay or don't stay or activate or don't activate. But just like you were mentioning, you can like run into a situation that's kind of similar, and all of a sudden there's a trigger, and it could trigger you mentally and emotionally, or it may not do that at all, but it can trigger the physical body to start doing a symptom. And again, we look at it and go, okay, let's go get a doctor. We're going to get some pain medicine. It's going to turn this off. But it doesn't deal with the root. It's still there. So it'd be kind of like if you had a car that needed oil or an oil change, and the light goes on and it blinks and it does all this stuff and it's really annoying. And you brought it to someone and said, hey, can you change my oil out? And they're like, you know what? Better idea. I'm going to unplug this sound and take this light out, and that won't annoy you anymore. But you drive off the lot, you're going to have some problems because the car will blow up, right? So
Yeah.
looking at root issues is huge. And I like using frequency because you don't have to sit there and talk about it. You don't have to rehash it. You don't have to let your body relive it. It just goes past the olfactory system right into that limbic system and starts moving things out. And you don't have to think about it, talk about it. It's just like moved. And now when you're put in those situations, you find yourself responding differently, and you're just like, wow, that used to really bother me. And now I'm like, whatever, peace. It's like,
Yeah.
versus like, or crying or freaking out. And then with you, like, I don't know if you've experienced this, but for me, I started having memories bleed through. And that was like, not, it was like, that was like, I didn't know if I was going to make it, honestly. And a lot of people don't make it. They off themselves or, use substances to not think about it or feel it or remember it. So it's very traumatizing for anyone who had MK Ultra or reduction, anything like that, to kind of synthesize and like move it. And so frequency is a really good way to move it out without having to relive it. I know regression is really popular, but talking about it can actually cause more problems. So this is a simple, gentle, fun way to kind of move things without like any charge, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I feel like that kind of happened whenever I gained those reptilian Orion memories back, because
They're
then
scary. They're
yeah,
scary.
yeah, and that was I feel like my guides and the star beings, they've kept me pretty well protected, and there there are things that I've tried digging into, like memories and things, but they're like, nope. And with the whole Orion War thing, that was really my first like experience with it. And I was like, holy crap, this stuff, it just became that much more real. And, because you hear about these things, and actually like seeing it and feeling it was pretty crazy. So I feel like it kind of like re-triggered some things. But then, I was able to work through them with my clients that I do star origins readings for. Sometimes the star beings, they'll show me like a blippet of a little memory, or they'll show me like what it had to do with, just very, very vague. Um, or sometimes they'll just say it has to do with this. For an example, Orion Wars, just clear and heal that. And I'm like, well, they don't need to know specifically what was so traumatic. And a lot of the time they're like, no. And even for me, they're like, no, you don't need to, dig it back up, but just set the intention on healing it.
That's true. That's really good.
Yeah. Pretty wild. Whenever you add the past life stuff in there, it's like, woo, or parallel life.
Exactly. Because we have genetic memory. So, I mean, you're me, I'm you, that's the whole thing.
And like and how you were saying that, because even like recently I've been doing I did not too long ago a Lyran Wars healing transmission, and I needed to do another Orion one, but different things, because even if you didn't specifically live through that, it's affecting all of us. It affects all of us, so we have to heal it.
It's true.
Yeah.
You're right.
So DNA, that's one of my favorite topics. I would love kind of like your take on DNA. Whenever the UFOs first started showing up, and this is before I really like knew anything, they were showing me DNA in the clouds. They would make, I'd see the UFOs, I'd see these strands of DNA, and telepathic communication was beginning. They're basically like, your DNA is very important. And that's like the number one thing that they had me focus on. And I'm still very, very focused on, is activating your DNA, because then you activate all of these new gifts. And it's also like unique to the individual what types of uh, gifts. I think, well, it depends on kind of your past lives, who you've been also. Everybody's a unique individual, but we have all of this untapped potential, and things become easier. Life becomes easier. Things manifest more quickly. It's like, I don't know, it's crazy. So I would just love, I guess, your take on DNA.
Yeah, I mean DNA, they call it, they call junk DNA or
Mhm,
dormant DNA. They say that we have 3% that we use.
mhm.
Um, are apparently 3% in the brain, and then
Right.
there's like 3% discovered in the universe as like space. So I find it funny how like as below or as above, so below, like there's
Yeah.
that correlation there. But so I wonder if we discovered more space, if that we would use our brains more or something. I don't know. I
Mhm,
wonder how that really works. But
mhm,
yeah, minerals are huge. Enzymes are huge on a physical for activating the DNA. Of course, there's meditations and things like that. Music, frequency, again, those are activations. But yeah, minerals are key, and they used to be in the food,
mm,
and so were enzymes. They've depleted the soil, and they've completely robbed us on food, how food is even prepared, how food is grown, pesticides, herbicides, all those things that affects the DNA, and then all the chemicals, chemtrails, all that affects, hormone disruptors and the DNA. I mean, there's obviously the thing that they do and the arm, all this stuff is
mhm,
opportunity to kind of shift things and change who we are as God and us.
mhm,
And when, because we should all be doing amazing things, supernatural things should be normal.
mhm,
I talk about some of the crazy things that have happened in my book as far as bilocating and people saying that I gave them a card that I wrote somewhere else when I was in another state or things like that. It's like that should be normal. That shouldn't
mhm,
even be a second guess. Transporting,
mhm,
bilocating, healing our body really quickly. All lots of things. Intuition. Remote healing. Me talking to someone just telepathically, or hearing someone telepathically. Those things are, as you know, if you've dealt with anything off planet, they don't
mhm,
have to use a cell phone to talk.
mhm,
You're quiet. You don't use words. Everything is telepathic because
mhm,
they're at a higher frequency, and then they raise us up in that frequency to even talk to us or have that conversation.
mhm,
So as we clear, as we detox, as we transmute, and as we get rid of chemicals in the body and in the house and clear things up and clean things up and really get sharp, use minerals, take front loads of enzymes. That's what really brings healing and high frequency to the body to be able to really step into this and tap into it and be like amazing, be superheroes. We're all superheroes, and we should be functioning in that every day.
100%.
It should be every day, all the time. It should be normal.
Yeah, definitely. And so you mentioned the enzymes. What types of like enzymes or supplements do you suggest that
I have
you
a
found
whole,
helpful?
yeah, I've done testing for over a decade on not only essential oils, but supplements.
Mhm,
And I just did a whole 4 garbage bags full of supplement tests, three blind study tests last year during the time where everybody was off. I'm like, well, I might as well do some research. So,
mhm.
so yeah, that's all that is on my website. There's lots of different things. Unfortunately, a lot of these companies that I used to use have been bought out.
Yeah.
So like Tom's has been bought out. Pure supplements have been bought out by Nestle of all
Oh,
things.
no. No way.
Yeah, Burt Bees has been sold. I'm trying to think of some of the bigger name that we used to be able to rely on for a good source of something healthy and
Mhm.
natural instead of synthetic. So I'm getting very picky.
Yeah.
I'm a purist, and so I use basically what's on my website. But And I get people all the time like, "Will you do this testing on this oil or whatever?" I've done my testing, I've done my research, I paid buku money and worked with 3 doctors to do it. And at this point, I'm like, I'm sold. I'm good with what I'm doing.
Mhm.
And you guys either research on your own or take my
Mhm.
suggestions or do whatever you feel, you're supposed to do. But I
Mhm.
do look at the physical stuff too, because again, integrity is mind, body, spirit. It's an integration of the whole thing. And you can't pee over here and hope it doesn't get over here. You can't smoke over there and hope it doesn't affect everything. Everything affects everything. You
Mhm.
affect me. We all affect one another. And as we come up, everything you do for yourself and you're actually healing everybody
Yeah.
because we are one.
Mhm. Yep, 100%. So that's the best thing that we could do right now is, you know, healing ourselves and just focusing on ourselves. Well, of course, giving to others, but like what you just said, whenever you do that, it affects everybody else. And Shannon mentioned something I actually wanted to ask your thoughts on. She said, "Say out loud, I choose to be unaffected negatively or adversely by anything I put into, onto, or surround any of my bodies over the next 24 hours. So be it, and so it is." Because you hear about yeah, I was wondering if your mind, you can kind of reprogram yourself to not be negatively, affected by some of these things. What are kind of your thoughts on that?
Well, Shannon, I get the vibe of what you're saying, and also when you enter in negativity in a sentence, then there's a frequency to that word, so it kind of takes away. It's like 2 steps forward and 1 step back. A simple decree that would be clear is
Mhm.
only God touches me, only God sees me, only God hears me, or I am that I am, or something along that line where it's a radiation out and there's no subtraction at all in the frequency of it. So yeah, I mean, I love only God touches me, only God sees me, or I am the ascended Jesus Christ, permanent light, love, and victory already attained in my body, in my soul, in my spirit. And when I say Jesus Christ, I'm talking about Jesus Christ consciousness,
Yeah.
if you will. There's a lot of different decrees out there that are more streamlined with high
Mhm.
vibe that wouldn't have like this effect to it. Conscious language is really, really important for sure. But I love the idea of the decrees, that the intention is very supportive. But again, you can have the intention to get in a car and not have an accident, but wearing a seatbelt is a good idea, right?
Mhm.
So there's some things that are just like you wouldn't jump off a cliff and have the intention that I'm going to be saved. It's like,
Mhm.
some of the people who decided to do this, because I really believe that there was like campaigns, energetically, voice to God tech, or people were just coming up with, oh, I think I should do this. It's fine.
Yeah.
And they're, because the sentences were exact. And so a lot of people did it and just thought, oh, that won't be a problem. Well, look how many people are having problems. So the
Mhm.
attention is powerful, but also physical things, again, integration, mind, body, spirit, everything working together towards one thing, instead of like, I'm going to crash my car on purpose, but I have my seatbelt on. So does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah, no, yeah, that totally makes sense. And you hear about people have talked about like blessing their food or changes the vibration of their water with their words, their thoughts, and intentions. Um, but yeah, I totally get how you'd still want to take more care of the physical thing. And I also wanted to comment on that was a really good point for saying like not using the word like negatively um, or negative because I've experienced this myself where I may want to put up protection or something like that, or I'm doing something but I brought something negative up and then it's like it's there and I'm like, well, it
Yep.
wasn't even there until I like thought of it.
Yep. And there's code to that. There's code to so everything is equations, everything's code. So the minute you bring in a negative equation, you're literally subtracting from the field.
Yeah.
So like, everyone, do not think about pink elephants right now. Okay. Don't think
Yeah.
about how big they are or how pink they are or how big their pink ears are. If everyone could just take 5 seconds and not think about pink elephants, and of course everyone's now envisioning pink elephants, right? So
Mhm.
it's hard to cancel clear. It's fun and easy to rescript a decree that would have a clean ride on it, like a good path for takeoff here, a launch without any bumps or subtractions.
Yeah, 100%. And Bear said, only those whose intentions are of pure love and for my highest and greatest good are welcome to join me. I really like that. That doesn't say, I'm like protecting myself from the negative beings that are trying, you know what I mean?
Exactly, exactly. And I think that's the program too, is I know in the church program, spiritual warfare and, all this stuff. It's like if you walk in a room, you don't have to fight. You get the choice to be and to radiate love. That's it. You don't need to fight anything or shoot at anything or tear down strongholds or all these like weird things that we've done in the past. It's like just turn the freaking lights on. Just
Mhm.
blaze, just radiate. And I look at it kind of like a sponge that takes on every single thing that comes along versus a radiating sun. The sun just shines. It doesn't take a day off. You could throw stones at the sun. It's not going to be like, oh man, I'm going to dim my light. You can be mad at the sun. The clouds can even come in between and kind of block, and you can think, well, maybe the sun's not there. The sun's still there.
Mhm.
So, we can be that radiating sun, and we can be blazing in love, truth, all the good code to just blaze it out, which will therefore attract it back to us. And, or we can have the victim role of like, oh man, something can get me at any corner, and oh
Mhm.
shit, I hope this, and the boogeyman and entities and all that stuff. It brings in the equation because now you've thought about it, and now you've brought that into your field just by thinking about it.
Right. Yeah, but then and that's tough. Like whenever those reptilian memories came back recently, then I was like, like I had to like still work through that. But yeah, what you focus on is what you create. But I feel like sometimes I guess we do have to, go through the process of that. But yeah, that is very, very helpful. I like that. Being specific, setting your intentions, changing your language, being that light. Yeah.
Really good comments. Love it. Love it. What you focus on, you create. Yes. I always say what you focus on, you make room for. So,
Mhm.
as we, good one, Shannon, like that. Yeah. And we're built to create. We are creators. We're manifestors, and
Mhm.
energetically and physically. And so there isn't anything new under the sun. It's already been created. It's already in here. It's just us making the actual physical steps to bring it out and to create it. It's a
Mhm.
great opportunity. We're supposed to have fun here. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
fun and easy. We're supposed to play and not work. I mean, all of these
Mhm.
programs that have taught us you got to work and you got to do all this stuff. Yes, there's physical stuff involved and there's daily tasks and all that, but we can choose to make it fun and easy.
I know, right? Just recently, some of the my Pleiadian star family has been like, they'll like, it's like they telepathically send me an image of, well, if you look at the Pleiades kind of sideways, it looks like a smiley face. I have a picture of it, a picture that I took in my room. It looks so every time I look at it, it makes me happy because it looks like a smiley face. And then they'll like send me that image sometimes whenever I'm kind of like stressing or kind of worrying about something, and they're reminding me like, smile, this is supposed to be fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's what they've been helping me with the last week recently. It is supposed to be fun. We take things very seriously.
We do. And Matthew, I don't know if Matthew's still on here, but he's really fun. He's good at helping come above all of that. And he's just, I don't know, he's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Desert Daisy, yes. How has it been an hour already? I don't know.
Oh my gosh, yes, it has, hasn't it?
Yeah, that went by really quick. Um, Let me see. There was a couple. If there was any other questions, okay. So we talked about the DNA. DNA codes can changes depends on your thoughts, feelings, etc. We basically kind of like already talked about that, but I just really like that. And you mentioned on another interview, you mentioned the words, I just want to bring this up real quickly, but the word Ecuador on like a supplement or something
Yeah.
was causing like a triggering response. So that's just wild that even the words on in labels on our bottles and on, everything is really, really affecting us to be, mindful of that.
Yeah, what she's referring to is I needed a certain vitamin, but when Dr. Lucky gave it to me, he tested me with it and it instantly made me weak. And it was like something I had taken before. I had no knowledge of why I would be weak to it.
Mhm.
My body obviously needed it. So he was like, is it the label? Is it the words on the label? Is it the color of the label? And he would just keep testing, testing, testing. He went to each and every individual word on the ingredients, on the and anything. And what came up, like you said, was Ecuador. And
Mhm.
I had a NDA, NDE there, and it was pretty. They
Wow.
told me I wasn't going to make it, and it was terrible. But I mean, I'm clear now.
Mhm.
But once we cleared that, then I was able to take that medicine. But how many things are we putting on our body every day that we don't even know that could be weakening us? And so I'm like super hyper focused on like words on shirts or what they
Mhm.
represent, or even like fingernail polish, which I don't really wear anymore because it's not really good for your lungs or your body. But you know
Mhm.
how they come up with those really cute names of things, or sometimes it's like weird names that are kind of like, ooh, I don't want to put that on me, or
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, thanks for bringing that up, because words are very, very powerful and can affect the physical body even when we don't know. We could just
Right.
be feeling weak and have zero idea why
Mhm.
we're fatigued, or why this issue's happening, or why we're crying, or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah, that's and something that the star beings were showing me and source was inspiring me to do. I made my merch shop. I started my merch shop almost a year ago. Got it up for last Christmas. I wanted to make shirts with affirmations because even,
Yes,
wearing them and even just people reading it, people
yes,
are going to read your shirt. And if it
yes,
says like, I am happy, or, just things like that, you're kind of almost tricking them into raising their
yes,
vibration.
yes. It's literally helping the planet.
Yeah.
It's helping you and your physical body. And then also everywhere you go, people are maybe not even mentally reading it, but
Mhm.
we're recording all the time. We're recording every billboard, every song,
Mhm.
everybody who says everything, everyone who's way over there. We don't necessarily, that's what we defrag. Like, we're stimulated so much information, but from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., we get rid of like the lady at the checkout had a green shirt that had a frog on it or whatever. It's like that kind of goes away during that time. So we can't keep all of it. We don't need
Mhm.
to keep all of it. But yeah, those kind of things can be subtle, but also very powerful, extremely
Mhm.
powerful. So I love that you're doing merch like that. I love that. I did the whole
Yeah.
thing too. I had a whole shop for a while that said like, I am powerful, and I am love, and I stay, and things like that. And that's great. You're doing that. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. Here's one of the newer designs. It says Starseed Envoy on it. It's got a
So cute. I love the colors. So clean. I love the branding. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah. So that's it's yeah, it's going to help a lot. Um and I guess that was do you kind of have anything else that you'd like to share? Or does anybody have any questions also before we, wrap it up? Thank you, Vera, and thank you for the super chat. I saw that too. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's fun.
I think someone was asking about eating animals and vegans and stuff like that. If you've ever studied Roy, not Royal Rife, Clive Baxter, they hooked up um, vegetables that were being cut, and they scream when they're being cut.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I've
they're
heard
just
that.
as much alive as everything else. There's no like, some people cannot be vegan. Some people can't do meat, so you got to go with what you got. But either way, everything's alive. They even like cut a vegetable and had vegetables next to it, and they would test the vegetables next to it that were watching the other thing being murdered, and they were screaming. So
Mm.
same thing with like shrimp, boiling shrimp. We have these shrimp that were alive, these shrimp that are being boiled, and both of them are screaming because they're like,
Mhm.
oh, just like if someone came in the room with all of us there and just started hurting one of us, we would all be freaking out. We feel it,
Mhm.
we physically can feel it, like especially if you're an empath. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's one question that's so funny that people are going to be really excited to hear about.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and being a nutritionist, and you see some people, even some people in the spiritual community, have gone on to like an all meat diet, and it has helped their health tremendously. And being a
Yep,
nutritionist, I know that everybody is different. I've tried going vegan, and it literally was not. It wasn't. It. I couldn't function. It wasn't good for me. But being mindful of what you are eating, definitely. Um, being grateful, appreciating, and you just want to make sure that you're getting your food from, you know, better sources.
absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, everybody's different and some people, yeah, everybody's different. So everybody's diet is going to be different as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, let's see if
Those
there's
are
any
natural she's
questions.
had when the grass is cut. I love it.
Okay, I don't know if I see any questions. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me, and I'll
Yeah,
definitely reach out and get you some dates so we can have you on my show too.
yeah.
It was super fun. I love all you guys vibe. Really, really cool. A lot of people I don't know, a lot of people I know. So
Mhm.
thanks for just letting me be here with you guys tonight.
Yeah,
Fun.
yeah, you were awesome, and everybody go check out her website. I'm gonna go check out the list of all of the kind of supplements and oils and everything. It is like detox season. That's a big message that I've been getting. Um, Even before I started the parasite cleanse, the star beings were telling me you're detoxing because I was feeling all these things going on, and then I was also like very tired, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? So it seems like that's the energy supporting that right now, and it's time to detox.
Right into the holiday season, right? Why don't we just start now instead of wait till January? Like, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
We got this.
Right.
Dreams, visions, all the fun things, intuition increased. Who doesn't want all that? Like, this is your inheritance. This is what you get to have, like normal when we
Yeah.
clean up.
Yeah. We're just remembering it and, reactivating it, being able to access it, I guess.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Do you want to share where people can find you or any upcoming projects or anything that you would like to share with people?
Yes. Again, you can go to swiftfire.org.
Mhm.
I'm on all the platforms like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Telegram and all of that. I don't know. I think you have my links. I don't know if they're in here, but
Yeah, they're in the
yeah.
description.
And I love how we can do these things online because I'm at home chilling and can talk to you guys all over the world. And that's cool. I don't know where everybody's from, but I really miss conferences. I know you just came back from one and
Mhm.
that just hugging and seeing eye contact and hanging out and eating food and breaking bread and laughing. And, so if anything, if you guys want to just send me a quick message if something stuck out to you and you're like, hey, I saw you on this show or whatever, then
Mhm.
for me, it gives me like a beeline where I could see your face and really connect. That's kind of my virtual like hug a little bit of like seeing you better instead of this little tiny comment here with a picture this big kind of deal.
Mhm.
But so yeah, reach out and yeah, I do bioscans, I do soul audits, definitely
Mhm.
have a lot of training for essential oils and or essential oil opportunities to get on board with that. And
Okay.
would love to connect with you guys and help any way I can serve. We got the show every Thursday at noon. We have Robert is tomorrow, but Craig and I host a podcast, Swifire True TV. And yeah, I'd love for you guys to subscribe and hang out and watch some of the stuff that we've been
Mhm.
doing. And yeah, and you'll see Lily there. She's going to come hang out with us. So,
Yeah.
yes.
Super excited. I just lost it, but Shannon asked what zeolite you prefer. Do you
I
know?
don't remember the name of it, but I have a link. And I have it in my house, but I'd have to go look for it on the. I can't grab it real
Okay.
quick, but I can screenshot a picture and a link to you so you make sure and get the right one. But oh my God, so helpful. If we have heavy metals, we're already antennas and receptors, but
Mhm.
adding the metals amplifies. So when they're using a voice to God tech or any kind of 5G or anything like that, if you have heavy metals, it's like putting tin foil in a microwave. It's just like it cooks you from the inside out. And also they can send information as far as like thoughts in your head and things like that. So if we can detox from the heavy metals that are in food, water, those vapes and the cigarettes and all that stuff, that all has like crazy stuff, the chemicals and all the cleaning supplies and all, there's heavy metals
Mhm.
in so much.
Yeah.
So the more, yeah, we can do zeolites or black charcoal, dark charcoal, or different oils and things to clear that. That's a
Mhm.
good one, Shannon. Good.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. And you have an Instagram. She can reach out. I'm gonna get the link for it and I'll mention it on Sunday's live. But Shannon, maybe you could also reach out to her on Instagram or through a website.
Yes.
Okay,
Well, then,
awesome. Yeah, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much. It was so lovely meeting you, and I am excited to collaborate with you. And thank you, everybody who is here watching. I will see you guys. Oh, this Sunday we are doing an Arcturian activation at 2 p.m. Central Time. So I'll be channeling the Arcturians. We will bring in the Arcturian Star Family guides and do an activation this Sunday. So hope to see you guys there. Bye.
thank you so much.